From the day you are born, you are faced with choices. Even mere seconds into your existence, you are faced with two damning options. Breathe or die. And from that moment further, you are faced with never-ending choices until the day you stop breathing. What kind of food are you wanting to eat for dinner? Who should I choose to go to prom with? What shoes look better for the upcoming job interview? If the world was ending and it was a 50-50 coin flip to save it, would you spend the remainder of the time with your family and loved ones, or will you spend the potential remainder of your time here on Earth trying to save it? Choices. Well, the game One Chance created by Dean aims to answer that question. The game was released onto Newgrounds all the way back on December 2nd, 2010. Since its release, it has been frequently praised as one of the best examples of the permadeath mechanic. Permadeath just stands for permanent death. It's when a game has in place, or rather doesn't have in place, the ability to reload your save, making every decision or loot collected during your lifespan final.
What? Fuck!
Examples of games like these would be XCOM 2, where there is a mode called Iron Man mode, where it overwrites your last save every single time you make a decision, so if someone dies, they die for good. Or Realm of the Mad God, an 8-bit multiplayer video game where you play as a certain class. However, death hides behind every corner in that world, and if you die, say goodbye to all the loot you've collected and try again. However, what makes One Chance in a league of its own is, well, where's the fun in that? Why don't you just experience it with me? In 6 days, every single cell on planet Earth will be dead. You have one chance. Meet John Pilgrim, a scientist. He's also a family man with a wife and daughter, and recently something big seems to be happening within their lives. Outside, the newspaper dated for Tuesday documents a scientist who has found the cure for cancer and other harmful viruses. Oh wow, that's us. While going to work, there are many people congratulating us on our discovery. Sales are through the roof and women are all over us. We are living out our fantasy. Though there is still a job to do, but the cure isn't what it seems. The next day, it's the calm before the storm. Molly, our daughter, does not want to go to school, and Penny, our wife, is bathing as she tells us our phone has been blowing up all morning. Outside, we read up on the news. Cure. Dangerous, it says. The pathogen named E48K15 is actually a gas-based drug that targets not only cancer cells, but every single cell on planet Earth. Officials say if the drug were to get out, it could cause catastrophic damages to the Earth and its inhabitants. Once going to work, spirits are no longer high. Funding has tanked, and the boss says that we are really in bad shape. And all the people congratulating John are now just staring at him and doubting his actions. Instead of going to work, John goes to the roof and speaks with one of the co-workers, Matthew. He begins freaking out about the pathogen they found. Matthew says that they have run thousands of tests and laments about what they've created, ultimately choosing to end his life instead of living out the hell that they created. The president then informs the world of the dangerous pathogen, pretty much saying that we're all doomed to die. The next morning, Penny doesn't even have it within her to get out of bed, and Molly is confused as to why she doesn't have to go to school today. Even still, John is a scientist who can maybe fix this entire situation. Outside, we are shown yet another newspaper article. This time it tells us how the virus works. E48K15 attacks every single cell. So you can tell when the virus has reached your area when the greenery around the area has begun to dim. And well, looking around, the apple tree has now begun to decay. The virus is upon us. On the way to work, protests has begun to break out in the streets, and most of the people have decided to spend the remainder of days with their loved ones. Our boss even tells us to go home and do just that, but John refuses and goes back to work. only to fail once again. Getting up in the morning the next day, Penny doesn't even speak to us as we leave out for work. John goes to check on his daughter as she peacefully sleeps, reading the newspaper for the last time, and it informs us that by Saturday, more than 50% of the living population will be dead. Outside John's home, the remainder of the scientists ask for help. Now we are faced with a choice: spend the rest of life with my wife and kids and do much to certain death, or go to work as usual and try not to only save our daughter's future, but mankind's. So we leave our family behind and head to work. Of course, life is full of distractions, and the woman from the very beginning of the game believes it to be her last day here on Earth, and so she wants to go out and have some fun and invites John. However, John chooses work until the very last moment. Unfortunately, it results in another failure. And later that night, when arriving home, a pool of blood can be seen coming from the bathroom. Once entering, Penny can be seen laying within a tub full of blood. She took her own life because she was all alone for far too long. The next day, Molly is wondering where her mother went. John had to clean up the mess and even gave her a proper burial outside by the tree. There's no newspaper this time, the world is dead, and everything has lost its green tint. John ends up taking Molly to work, where he tries for a cure one last time, but again, he's unable to do so. The last day, the game tells us we had one chance. John is now moving very slowly as the virus has taken over the entire world, it seems. Molly is also looking quite fatigued as well. We have a choice to go to work or die peacefully at the park. John, one more time, chooses to go to work. However, with his daughter dying, wife dead, world ending, it all becomes far too much for John as he goes to the roof and jumps, ending himself, ending the world, and most regretfully, he ended his daughter's future and left her to die all alone. That ending did not make you feel good at all, did it? This is where one chance begins to shine the brightest compared to similar games. Just watch. This is the reason why One Chance is so unique. Even after refreshing the page or closing out the game and opening it back up, you are still left with the edge of the building that John threw himself off of. There's no end screen, there's no respawn, no retries or anything like that, no. You are now just left with the grueling consequences of your actions, a dead world covered in snow. It's terrifying. Once you finish the game, there aren't any more chances for you to revisit other choices of the game, and then you're simply left with the what if. What if you hung out with your coworkers? What if you went to work earlier? What if you could have found a cure? What if you didn't leave your wife alone all those days? What if you could have saved your daughter and the world? What if? Choices are very important for the human psyche. As many would say, choices equals control and control equals survival. Even though it's not necessarily true, we equate having choices with having control. Our survival instincts tell us that we'll survive if we have control. So it's our powerful unconscious that keeps us seeking control, and it's the desire for control that keeps us seeking choices, which then we equate to our survivability. Humans and animals, when faced with a difficult decision, the dopamine neurons light up when someone makes a difficult choice, teaching them to make better decisions in the future. Making the best decisions in our ever-changing world requires learning. Evolution rewards those who are rapidly learning from their wins and from their mistakes. And I do believe this fundamental function of our brains makes One Chance so effective. Parts of our brains are designed to withhold information, use it, ingest it, and then allow us to react effectively. Choices are most times very final, and the only way for humans to develop parts of their brains like the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex is through the process of trial and error. One chance recreates that natural learning curve that we humans are faced with every single day, giving us a list of seemingly trivial options until much later we begin to see where our choices have led us, learning and ingesting that information for the next time. However, just like in the real world, sometimes there just is no next time. Have you ever wondered why when you see a puzzle missing just one piece, you are filled with this overwhelming urge to just fill it in, to complete the puzzle? The same function of what differentiates us from other mammals is our outstanding puzzle clearing tendencies. For humans, puzzles are mental workouts. All different parts of your brain activate when undergoing a test or a puzzle or pretty much anything that requires problem solving. That's why those who play games that require problem solving usually have shorter response times and increased accuracy in terms of puzzles. However, on the same token, games are also responsible for cognitive biases, which could affect decision making and problem solving. It can also be reduced dopamine, which can impact decision making skills, and decrease prefrontal lobe activity, which can lead to increased moodiness, anxiety, aggressiveness, even after the game is over. Video game culture has just a few golden rules that many of us follow. For example, take the least obvious paths in games. You'll always find more. F and E is usually the key that is used to interact with items. Shift normally means run, and of course you can always reload your save. That last one is the one I really want to harp on. I do believe this to be the reason why one chance hurts the players so much. In video games, you are taught to always save your game. That way you can resume or go back as needed, creating this imaginary gaming safety net for players and people to rely on. Even in decision-based games, you kill off a person you didn't mean to, reload your save. Are you regretting going the evil route? Reload your save. Boss kicking your ass left and right and you want to do some more farming? Reload your save. Jumped off the edge of a building and left your daughter to slowly die in a confused and alone state? Can't reload that one. You're now forced to see the world go dormant. This is your fault. You could have changed it. You could have done better. You had only one chance. But I am the problem. No way am I ending this video without knowing the other endings. But everybody, thank you, Vlad Puzovkov. I really hope I'm saying your name right for uploading every single different variation and ending. Not sure how you did it, but I'm sure as hell going to enjoy where everybody had their fuck ups and makeups. Ending 1, die alone at a park ending. Tuesday, everything's happy. You say bye to your family as you go to work. However, you have the option to skip work with your coworkers and celebrate. Also, the woman that wants to have sex with you is there, but things remain PG and you remain loyal as you just go to the bar with her, and along with Wednesday, everything remains the same. Go to talk to your wife, the paper says the drug is dangerous, go to work, then talk to Matthew as he does a cool flip off the building. Thursday, the paper says everyone's going to die. Your boss tells you to leave, and this time you actually do, spending the remainder of the days with your wife and child instead of work. Friday, wifey sees the world is dying and decides today would be a great day for some physical stimulus. John is asked to go to work and help try to find a cure, and he decides to go to work but finds another cure instead. When coming back, the wife has not killed herself this time, but is very angry with John for leaving, which is wow. John cheating on his wife keeps her alive. Go figure. Saturday, John wakes up alone. She took the kid and she also left. We go to work and try to find a cure only to fail, and Sunday John is infected and goes to a nearby park to die sad and alone. What's worse, the wife and the daughter most likely are going through the same fate as we speak. Ending 2, die alone, but this time within a lab. You skip Tuesday and Wednesday, and on Thursday, instead of going home to your wife and kid, you stay at work only to fail. And when Friday comes along, when your coworkers try to drag you to work, simply just stay home and be loyal to your wife and family. Saturday, John wakes up with his wife, however, Molly has disappeared without a trace. John will go to work and fail once again. And then on Sunday, now his wife has disappeared. However, John still has to go to work, but it is no different. John will fail and slowly die within the confines of the lab walls, sad and alone. Ending 3, nothing but pain. Skip Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. However, on Friday, as John is having that sexy with his wife, you ignore your coworkers will allow you to continue to have the sexy with the wifey. I think Saturday, John will decide to go to work, and then Jim from the very beginning will try to stab us. If you remember, Jim is actually the person who was very envious of us on day 1, aka Tuesday. He calls us a savior in a very sarcastic tone, but John is able to defend himself, and again he will fail at work as usual. Later that night, coming home only to see Penny and Molly have been killed by a crazed Jim, and to make matters worse, he hung himself within our room. Sunday comes around and John decides to commit suicide. Ending 4, Julius Caesar or the Night's Watch. I don't know. Anyway, you skip all the way to Saturday. This one's simple. Just let Jim stab you and you will die within the labs. Hey, at least you saved your daughter and wife from a bloody death. Ending 5, die at the park, but not alone this time. Tuesday, be a good lad and go to work all day. Wednesday, you work. Thursday, work. Friday, work some more, but this time you find your dead wife at home. Fuck. Saturday, work, but it's bring your kid to work day, so Molly's coming with. And Sunday, you finally give up and die peacefully alongside your daughter. Tragic, but less sad. Ending 6, a good and happy ending. Yay! Pretty much work every single day. Do not give in to any distractions. Do not spend any time with your family. Yes, your wife may die, but at least you can save your daughter and yourself and maybe even the world this way. Finally giving us a semblance of happiness. But that is just not my John. How I like to think about these games is that everyone and everybody who plays this game did something different, went a different route, had a different thought process, and it all resulted in a parallel universe. I believe my John, unfortunately, is still stuck in a dead world, but hopefully, just hopefully, when you guys played, you gave John that happy ending that he so deserved.